Yo, what's up everybody? Welcome back to High Revolution Bowling, and in today's video, I want to be teaching you how you can average 200 with 5 simple tips. All right, for tip number 1, the biggest tip I'd say, or the most expensive tip for sure, is to make sure you have a lot of equipment. So I have like 12 balls or so. It's not like crazy. A lot of people have 30s, 40s, 100s, some people, but I got about 12 balls that I throw normally. And the biggest reason you want to have a lot of different equipment is not everything's going to be the same. So my last video that I talked about for tips for beginner bowlers, I said just to get a ball. That's just a ball to get you started. This is going to be, if you want to carry over 200, you need more than one ball. You're not going to be able to do that with one ball. You might get away with it on a league house shot, but it's better to have more than one ball. Balls with different motions too, in particular. So like you want a ball that can skid through the front and snap through the back, and then a ball that can pick up early if you need to and kind of be tumbly through the pins. You're going to want to, like, maybe an ASIM ball and a symmetrical ball will probably get that done for you, but I'm going to show you exactly why. So this is going to be the Turbo X. It's going to be a ball that skids and snaps. So you'll see that motion here. As you can see, carried all the way down the lane. Gave me a really sharp back end motion. Hit high on the head pin, left with a 6. This is how it's gonna be with the skid snap balls a lot of times. They're really angular, but that ball's not working. I can switch to check Paragon Shadow, brand new. This ball's gonna be very angular. I mean, not very angular, very smooth, gonna pick up early. It's not gonna give you that big hockey stick kind of motion. And I'll demonstrate that here. Try to replicate the shot here best I can. Hit high that time, but that wasn't necessarily to show where it's gonna hit the pocket, necessarily just to show the different motion. As one's gonna go clean through the front, sharp through the back, and then the big track Paragon is gonna be a lot earlier to pick up and then kind of tumble through the pins. Hopefully you can see that there. And then also another tip, especially for two-handers, you need a spare ball. If you're a two-hander, you have to have a spare ball. The only way you're gonna be able to pick up your corner pins or your single pins, it's always better to throw at them with a spare ball, especially because it gets you more accurate, and especially if you bowl on a harder pattern where you're not gonna be able to trust the hook of the ball. It's great to have a spare ball, and I'll show that now. As you can see, a spare ball is going to be a plastic ball. It's going to have a super weak core in it, so it's not really going to hook. Great for picking up your corner pins. Tip number 2 is going to be know what you're bowling on and who you're bowling with. I'm a two-handed lefty. Not a lot of lefties. Just being honest, not a lot of lefties. So usually the left side of the lane is really fresh. Almost the entire league night or the entire tournament, it's usually pretty fresh. So I don't ever have to switch balls too often, but for the righties, you want to definitely make sure you have more balls for your righty, because a lot of righties on the lane are going to carry down the oil and displace the oil, pick up the oil a lot. It's going to make your balls pick up earlier and maybe have a spot where your ball don't want to hook down lane. So you really have to be knowledgeable about what you're bowling on. So like if there's a lot of traffic on my side of the lane, that Paragon's not going to do very good, because it's going to hook so early that it's going to be like almost impossible to get out to the right spot that I want to, because it's getting into a roll the second I put it on the lane. That's when I switch to a cleaner ball like the Turbo X. That's the kind of the importance of, you know, those two tips kind of play hand in hand, because you have more equipment so that when you know what you're bowling on and who you're bowling with, you can use your equipment to your advantage. Tip number 3 is going to be kind of a continuation of the first 2 tips as well, and that's going to be controlling the pocket. For 200 average, that's huge. If you can control the pocket and leave makeable spares, that is going to be great. You're going to be able to pick up your easy spares and have a clean game. Clean games most of the time, if you strike 4 or 5 times or have a double, that's a 200, easy. So like a ball that I would choose right now, probably just to control the pocket a little more, is probably this Turbo X. Not necessarily the shape, but just because I'm more comfortable with this shape. See, as you can see, I missed, but since I could control the pocket, I'm left with a very easy makeable spare, and that's gonna in turn give me higher scores because I'm not leaving those, you know, big fours or Greek churches or 7-10 splits, because I'm controlling the pocket and I'm able to leave those 1-pin spares, you know, very easy stuff. My tip number 4 is going to be making your spares. Again, big continuation in all of these tips here, but they're all important in their own way enough to make different tips out of them. Making your spares is probably, I would say, what sets the pros apart from your average bowlers. Yes, the pros strike a lot, but so do your everyday house bowlers, you know, that bowl in league all the time. They strike a lot too. The difference between the two is a pro bowler strikes the same amount of times, but cleans up his misses to where he's averaging, you know, 230, 240 in a house shot, where you might have a 200, 210 average house shot player that just comes and bowls league, who strikes, you know, 8 times a game, but he's not picking up his misses and he's leaving unmakeables. So that's kind of what sets the pros apart from, or even just the good players from the mediocre players, and then the pros from the really good players. There's a skill gap in all of it, and it's leaving these makeables and making these spares. You can never practice spares enough. These guys on tour, they probably practice spares when they practice throwing strike ball, because spares are the most important thing. You leave an open frame and your whole game's killed pretty much. Well, I mean, not killed, but it's really hard to recover from an open frame as opposed to having a spare and at least saving your non-strike. The spare will save you way better than an open will. My final tip for this video is going to be your mentality. This is something that I think every single bowler on this earth struggles with. There's no one that's going to be perfect about their mentality. I struggle with it all the time. I find it funny that I'm preaching it to other people because I struggle with it a lot. But it's something that if I were to tell someone who really wants to average 200 or get their first 200, you have to, every shot that you miss, you got to think, okay, just strike out from there. If you miss a shot, you don't get a strike, you get an open or whatever, you know you miss your spare, strike out. Everything, you got to think best case scenario. Even talk to yourself. I started talking to myself and it's been great. Give yourself some reassurance. Strike out after every, you know, unsuccessful shot. If you miss your shot, don't overcompensate in your head and make this crazy move. Just continue to control the pocket. It's mostly in your head. A lot of big scores that you're going to throw, you're going to probably not even be thinking about. If you watch this video and you end up throwing a 250, you might not even have paid attention to the scoreboard. You know, that's another thing I'd say. Don't look at the scoreboard. It's all mental. The second you start adding factors in your brain, you're going to start deterring yourself away from just making good, consistent shots time after time. So yeah, that's all I have for this top 5 tips video to get you to 200 average. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and see you all in the next one. And just to show you guys I'm not making this up, this was the game for the video. This was my first full game out of the video. And then this was the game I just shot, but if you look here, perfect through 6, didn't make a spare, struck again, and then had a baby split, didn't convert. So easily could have been a 260 game, 270 game, but when you don't convert your spares, you're left with 220. That's a pretty big difference. See you guys later.